Hey friends, it's Brian and I am back trying to play my guitar once again. And you may have noticed, if you're one of my 13 viewers, that I have a new guitar. I have this beautiful Duesenberg guitar, and I saw this on an internet photo and thought it was just so gorgeous that I did a little research to try to find out a little bit about this guitar. And turns out that it's a pretty expensive guitar and a highly coveted guitar. It took me a little bit to find this particular one, but I found it in Japan and ended up getting it shipped over here. It took a while to get it here, but I just received it today, and today is the first time that I have actually played this gorgeous instrument. And honestly, it's so nice. I almost hate to play it or get my fingers on it because it's just so darn pretty. But that is not the point of my video, but I thought I'd just share that one thing. So basically, I have been playing this particular riff now quite a lot. It's the opening, or actually the continuous riff in Come As You Are by Nirvana. Not that good at it yet, but I'm going to show you. Okay, I have played and played and played this riff. It's really the first riff that I've ever worked on with any kind of consistency. I've just started playing guitar, as you probably know, all of my 13 viewers. And anyway, but I thought that it might be wise to try to expand a little bit of what I was doing with my practice every day. So I was watching my good friend, who's not really my friend, but my instructor Justin on Justin Guitar, and I've been kind of following along some of his teaching and listening to the things that he instructs people to do. And he brought up working on this C scale, which honestly I have no idea what a scale is, and I just really learned about it over the last week or so watching various videos. There's a ton of language related to guitar that means nothing to me right now, but I'm hearing a lot of things like riff, which I do know, pentatonic scale, something about fifths, like wheel of fifths or something like that, and scales, which of course all these things are new to me and honestly were really intimidating to me in the pursuit of even attempting guitar, because I knew it was a real rabbit hole of information to get into. So I've been practicing this particular scale, the C scale, probably 1,000 times. I still find it extremely difficult, and I'll probably make a mistake, but I'm going to try to do it kind of slow, and I'll show you the various positions on the fret and so forth that you'll have to go through in order to repeat this with this note chart there, this little chord graphic that I've got over my shoulder. So let's go over it, and then I'll kind of explain to you some of the experiences that I had with it. So this is where it starts, on the 3rd fret and the 5th string. Whoops. I always get it wrong going down. Whoops. See, I got my fancy little bar here. So that is the basic pattern. And for me, a couple of observations that I had about this, I thought that might be useful to another beginner. the basic concept for me and the thing that kind of helped me with developing this pattern is kind of thinking of this as like, instead of having just a fret with like 20 or 22 frets or whatever, you know, if you imagine that you had some kind of giant fretboard or fingerboard and a really long string, and you're basically working from the most bass sound, which is this C sound, all the way down to the super tinny kind of high pitch sound. Okay, so you're basically working all the way between those tones or sounds or notes and then working your way back up. Now for me, I found it a little bit challenging because I didn't really know like where I should be putting my fingers, and it, you know, you can hear it in your ear like when it doesn't quite sound right, but to me, just to kind of follow along with what's actually happening, is you're moving from, you know, progressively thicker to thinner strings and then back up, and that's basically the same effect as moving down some gigantic string that had like a million frets on it or whatever, so that you could put your finger in various places and eventually get a really, really high tone from, or high sound from a string. So that helped me. I don't know if I put that quite as clear as I could have, but the basic idea was just that, you know, you're working down a series until you're getting to smaller, and because you're moving your finger along this fingerboard, you're effectively shortening the length of the string, which sort of acts like the idea that I was mentioning a minute ago, whereas if you're working down a really long fingerboard. So that kind of helped me to visualize what I was doing, and for me that just helped. But a few little interesting things that I've kind of come across as I've been playing now for about a couple of 2-3 weeks is a few things. One, by doing this exercise, I got to where I could find the strings without looking down very often, which I thought was, you know, for me, it was an accomplishment. I don't do it right all the time, but now I'm starting to kind of find my way around the real estate of the fingerboard and the strings, which was kind of exciting. And I can play, you know, some things without looking down now. Well, less so. But anyway, I'm finding that I'm not having to, you know, look back and forth at the strings and my fingers all the time in order to make the sounds. And especially as I play a little bit more, it seems like I get into a groove and I don't have to make as many visual connections as I was before. I'm just starting to feel my way around. Another couple of things that I've been finding is, one is, you know, getting the proper finger position is one of the most challenging things that any beginner is going to go through. It's so easy to accidentally mute an adjacent string, and it takes a lot of practice to kind of arch your fingers up or get them out of the way, or even to like learn to, you know, turn your finger in a really tight angle like this. I feel like I need to work some exercises to make it so that my fingers will bend the way that they need to, because it's so easy to accidentally mute an adjacent string. So that was one other thing. And another that was kind of interesting is I've been finding that, you know, before, when I first started to play, I was just cranking on these strings all the time, just pushing them down with so much energy. And now I'm finding that I just really don't have to touch the strings as hard, and I'm able to move my hands around with a lot less stress. So anyway, those are some of the observations that I had trying to learn this scale, and I thought it might help you as a beginner. This whole thing is basically geared towards being a beginner and the experiences of a beginner, and that's what I was hoping that I could share with you. So that's about all I have. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I really appreciate you taking the time to be one of my 13 viewers and watch my videos. So in the meantime, just make sure to have fun playing your guitar.